Charlotte Flair is renowned for having some of the best gear in the WWE. And today I have compiled all 75 pay-per-view gears from the history of Charlotte Flair's career. And we're going to be tier ranking them from S tier all the way down to F tier. And let me tell you, I thought these were all going to be like top of the range S tier outfits, but the deeper I got into looking back, the worse I realized they got. So this is going to be very, very interesting to see how many do actually land in those top tiers. I have to say, in my opinion, I do not think there is anyone who does it like Charlotte Flair. I think Charlotte Flair has the singular best gear in the entire company, and honestly, it's not even close. I don't think there's anyone who has gear on the level that Charlotte Flair consistently at that has gear. So we're going to be taking a look at WrestleMania 42 all the way back to Battleground 2015. So without further ado, let's rank every single Charlotte Flair pay-per-view gear ever. Man, I'm excited for this one. And by the way, if you are a fan of 2010's WWE nostalgia content, whatever you want to call it, please make sure to subscribe. I am so close to 1,000 subscribers, and honestly, I'm so incredibly thankful we've even made it to this point. But anyways, let's get to the rankings. Starting off, of course, with WrestleMania 42. Oh my god, it is insane. Like, there are no words to describe this gear. This is, I am someone who very much appreciates the array of colors that we get from Charlotte Flair's gear. I do definitely like the singular tone ones, but something I do like is when we get like the entire array of colors in a singular gear. And before I fully get into these rankings, I feel like I should clarify, I'm not a fashion designer. I know absolutely nothing about fashion. I simply just appreciate a Charlotte Flair outfit when Charlotte Flair makes her entrance. And with that being said, I have to put WrestleMania 42 as the first gear in the S tier. Up next, we take it to the Royal Rumble. And you know, we have got to appreciate the Saudi rules. I very much take that into account because there is only so much you can do when you're basically obliged to cover your entire body, which I know is not necessarily the vibe that the women are going for most of the time. But with all that being said, I think she did an incredible job again. Really, there is nothing to critique on these latest gears. These latest gears are so insane. We've got this like almost reptile print bodysuit with some gold lining, gold details. I think this, honestly, with the constraints of having to obviously cover up her entire body, I think this is another set of gear that comfortably makes it into the S tier. Survivor Series 2025, and I don't know if you guys like know the story behind this gear, but I recently watched like the full video that the WWE like official YouTube channel put out yesterday. Yeah, such a sad story. If you've not checked it out, please check it out. But yeah, obviously paying tribute to a very important cause. I really do like the gear in itself. Again, like I said, we're incorporating all the colors. I think it's a mixture of both her design but also the design of the little girl, which I just think is so incredibly cool. I really don't want to make this an S tier video, and I promise you as we progress it will not be an S tier video. But you know what, I'll put this one in the A tier. SummerSlam 2025. I have no words. This is unreal. We've got, I don't know where to begin. Just blue with the colored gemstones on the, what do you call it? The knee brace, the knee pads, and on the boots. Insane. Like, just so incredible. I think the thing I like most about this gear is obviously the fact we've got the whole like blue gear, but then within that, to break it up from being like all one color, we've got like the pink, the yellow, the orange, the silver stones in the knee, in the boot. I just think it's such an incredible addition that makes it pop and not feel just completely monotone. And I'm gonna have to go S tier for this one as well. I feel like you don't believe me anymore when I say that I'm not putting everything in S tier, but I promise you there will be some absolute stinkers in this video. Evolution, and the bangers just keep on coming. I think she's really in her like glitter, glam, sparkle era right now, and I am very here for it. I feel like rhinestones and just like sparkle in general are very underutilized, especially in like a very show performance thing like WWE. There is nothing more aura inducing than just someone like entering the lens of the camera just absolutely like bedazzled to the point where like you see the individual colors reflect off like every stone. I know this is such like a nitty-gritty thing, but so underutilized. And yeah, the purple just so incredible. I know I said the colors help the last one pop, but this is just monotone done incredibly. The purple with the silver details. Come on now. S tier. S tier, S tier. And you know what? I'm not even going to apologize if we've got a lot of S tiers to start off with. I think this is just a demonstration of how insanely good every single gear we get from Charlotte Flair is. I don't even think this is a reflection on overpraising her outfits. Anyways, we are straight back to WrestleMania. This time WrestleMania 41. We've got this sort of flower theme with the pink robe with the lotus looking flower headpiece, blue with the pink center, just absolutely rhinestone glitter, everything you could possibly ask for in an outfit. The color palette I feel like goes so incredibly well together. Something about pink and blue just really does it for me. I'm not sure what it is about the combo, but again, just another S tier gear, man. What can I say? Also, throughout this video, I really want to know what your guys' favorite Charlotte Flair gear is. I at the end will say which out of all of these I think is my personal favorite, but I'm very, very interested to see if there's like a unanimous gear that everyone agrees is the best Charlotte Flair gear, or if like it's a very individualized thing. I certainly think there are some that are like undeniably just the GOATs. But yeah, very curious. Let me know in the comments which Charlotte Flair gear you think was the best. And with that, up next we have her returning gear from Royal Rumble 2025. Oh, I really put myself in a position in this video. You guys are not going to believe me that I have the ability to put anything not in the S tier, but this is just nothing short of another S tier gear. All red. We've got the sort of like velvet satin. I don't know my materials. I don't know anything, but we've got that nice like red lining in the middle, and then the outside is just absolutely bedazzled. We've even got a little bit of orange on the knee pad. You can't really see it in this image, but I remember the like knee brace she had on after returning from the injury was just absolutely bedazzled. Like there was, you couldn't even pay attention to that match. All you could see was just the rhinestones flashing on her leg. Survivor Series 2023, and if I'm being honest, I do not remember this gear. And you'll be glad to hear this might actually be the first gear that is not making it in the S tier. I think it's definitely good, but it's just given a little bit tacky. I think it's sort of like feather type things on the sleeve and on the like middle torso bit. I don't know what you call any of it, but yeah, just something about this is a little more tacky than the other ones. The other ones have felt so premium and like just expensive looking, but this just looks a little tackier. And I'm actually going to be putting this in the C tier. Fastlane 2023. It's not bad. Like I can't sit here and say this is a bad piece of gear, but it's also just nothing special at all. It definitely looks a lot less tacky than the last one. Shout out to tacky time. But yeah, I definitely don't think this is top tier worthy. Just a very, very basic set of gear. I'm going to be putting this in the B tier. SummerSlam 2023, and we get this Robin, what they call it? Not Robin, Miss Red Riding Hood. Wait, why have I forgot the name? What was she called? Little Miss Red Riding Hood? Little Red Let me know in the comments what word I'm trying to say right now. But yeah, we got the Red Riding Hood type vibe going on right now. Again, I think it's definitely a lot more basic than a lot of the gears we've seen so far. Not really any rhinestones, no sparkle. I don't really love the red and the purple. I don't know if you guys can properly see like the purple boots, the little purple detail on the top piece. But yeah, definitely not one of my favorites. Quite basic on the grand scheme of things. So I'm going to be putting this one in the C tier. WrestleMania yet again, and we have WrestleMania 39. Such a unique gear. I think this is the first gear where it's really felt like a one piece. Like we've never really seen Charlotte Flair do this style before. Just a big old puffer jacket with some like sparkles on the shoulders. I think the thing about this gear is the SmackDown Women's title really is a part of the gear itself. Like it is acting as an accessory to the gear on a whole. I think without the SmackDown Women's title, it just looked like she had a big puffer jacket on. But I think the title itself adds the like required drip for this. We got like a crown tiara type situation going on. Plain black boots, nothing really too glamorous, but I like it. It's like a different direction. It's something fresh. I'm going to be putting this gear in the A tier. Backlash 2022. Ask me what happened at that pay-per-view. I couldn't tell you, but I mean, I like this gear. It's pretty I liked it till I properly zoomed in. It definitely potentially falls into the tacky category. And let me just say, when I use the word tacky, I mean tacky in terms of Charlotte Flair standard. Like if a regular superstar was to wear this would be an A tier outfit, S tier outfit. But we've got to be a little bit more harsh on Charlotte Flair's gear. Obviously, we can't see the full gear, but from what I can see, I like it, but it's just definitely not my favorite. I'm going to be putting this in the C tier. I don't know how we keep on getting around to WrestleMania so quick, but we're back at a WrestleMania. This is WrestleMania 38, and I think we've hit peak again. This is insane. Nothing tacky. We're sticking nice to blue and silver. Oh yeah, I've just realized what makes this so good. I think the addition of the SmackDown Women's title to the blue and silver vibe. Obviously, the title itself is blue and silver to an extent with that white detail. Just insane. The perfect variety of texture. I feel like we've got the rhinestones, we've got the silver linings, we've got the feathers on the arm. No big like feather thing behind her head, but I think it really does work for this gear, and I'm going to have to put this gear in the S tier. Elimination Chamber 2022, and there was really no images on this gear. I'm not entirely sure why. I feel like it was just because it was such an irrelevant match. Like genuinely, let me know if you remember Ronda Rousey versus Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Sonya Deville versus Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Sonya Deville and Charlotte Flair for the titles potentially. If it was for the titles, please tell me who had the titles here. But yeah, what was this match? Again, we're talking Saudi Arabia. We're talking the whole gear constraints, of course. Someone in this image, I feel like, who always cooks when it comes to Saudi gear is Sonya Deville. I think her Saudi gear, I think she's only had like 2 or 3 matches there, but they have always been incredible. As for Charlotte Flair, it is not looking good. I'm going to be honest, it is not looking good for Charlotte Flair. I'm going to be putting this one as the first gear in the F tier. There is just nothing good about this. Royal Rumble 2022, we are back to entering as the SmackDown Women's Champion. I like this. I like this very much. That you just can't go wrong with plain white bedazzled with the SmackDown Women's title. Come on now. I feel like it's lacking the tiniest bit of like depth to really be like the top caliber, but I'm still so tempted to put this at the bottom of the S tier. Survivor Series 2021, and I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. The hair is, I don't think we've ever seen this from Charlotte Flair, but it just goes so well with the gear. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe some of you guys understand this more than I do, but I think the hair very much matches the gear. I like these two like spiky things coming out of the jacket, black and silver, incredible. SmackDown Women's title. Yeah, I feel like between the bedazzled jacket, the boots, the hair, and the little spiky things, I think we've got another S tier gear here. This is such a nice piece of gear. Extreme Rules 2021, and yeah, okay. We've got a half and half situation. I feel like this was when she was like in her like Cruella DeVille era. Kind of like all of the gear was remotely inspired by that. I don't know if this gear was, but I know there was like a period of time where she was going for that look. I really don't like this. Maybe if I knew the story behind it, maybe I'd buy it a little bit more. But we've got some like red thing with the teeth. It's almost like a Demon Balor side on the left. And then we've got like a sparkle yellow, pink, blue side on the right. Yeah, I don't think half and half anything ever goes well. I'm going to be putting this in the F tier. SummerSlam 2021. Yeah, we've got an Egyptian Cleopatra Thanos glove type theme going on. Something about the textures just feels tacky again. Yeah, these just feel like really cheap materials. I don't like it. There's too many like cheap materials going on. I appreciate the concept, but I feel like the execution was just done in just not a good way. Whatever that shiny, you know, there's like panels on the jacket. Whatever that shiny material is just, it's just not it. I'm going to be putting this also in the F tier. Okay, Money in the Bank 2021. We've got a green set of gear with the black boots, Charlotte Flair, or CF should I say, on the left boot and likely on the right boot as well. Again, so another one without many good images, but I feel like this gives us enough of a gauge. I'm a big fan of this. I mean, obviously green for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I think it's a really nice shade of green as well. Almost like a, what do we call that green? Like a deep sea green. I don't know what the proper term for this is, but again, we've got the bedazzle, we've got the green. Nothing too major, not major enough, especially to make it to like an S tier, but I'm gonna give this gear a solid B tier. Hell in a Cell 2021. And you know what? I do quite like this gear. I think it immediately loses poise just because it's not got the like signature Charlotte Flair bedazzle. And that's not to say that bedazzle is required to make a good outfit, but yeah, I feel like it just takes away from her overall aura a little bit. I feel like she just doesn't feel as much of a megastar when she's not got the bedazzles on. But nonetheless, incredible outfit. I mean, black and purple, nice and simple. Yeah, everything is just done so well on this gear. I'm going to be putting this gear in the A tier. Backlash 2021. Yeah, this is what I was talking about with the whole like Cruella de Vil era. Like I got the vibe, and I know she was in her like villain stage right now. Big heel energy, which I will take into account. It definitely does add to the heel energy. But like I said, the half and half is just, it's just not it. Like even if you look on this left arm, well, actually both arms, the like paneling on the arms is just, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but it's just like so uneven and like just not done very well. I'm just not a fan. It's just very basic, and what was done I just feel like wasn't executed very well. So I'm going to be putting this in the C tier. And let me just say, by the way, we have not even got to the meat and potatoes of this. When I was looking back, some of these got absolutely diabolical, especially towards the beginning, but I feel like for now we're still in the pretty good era of things. I don't think we've seen anything too tragic yet. Some have certainly been very questionable, but hey ho, we are at Royal Rumble 2021. Fun fact, Charlotte Flair actually had 2 matches this night if you include the kickoff show. This image of course from the tag team match on the kickoff show. I like this. I like this very much. Simple but very effective. Again, definitely not something that can make it into the S tier in my opinion, but I think this is a solid low A tier bit of gear. TLC 2020, and we have a bit of a returning moment from Charlotte Flair. I am a big fan of this gear, honestly. I think it is so simple but effective. We've got the gold gear underneath this like white satin robe. Just an incredibly elegant look. I feel like the colors go very well together. It's just such a powerful, almost goddess-like outfit. Yeah, I mean, if you're making a return, making a statement, this might be the gear to do it. Like I say, the bedazzle is cool, but on the other side of things, this like super like simple but like goddess inspired gear, just so incredibly effective. I do really feel like I can't put this in the S tier simply because it does feel a little bit on the basic side of things. But like I said, basic doesn't mean bad, but I'm gonna put this at a very high A tier. WrestleMania 36, and I'm gonna be honest, this is not a gear that I recognize. I could not tell you again what happened at WrestleMania 36, but boy do we have some insane gear. This is insane. This is royal. This is regal. There is so much. Like the more you look at this outfit, the more you see. I don't know. We've got the purple gear underneath with the black lining, and then we've got the black robe with the gold details, with the purple details also. This honestly might have to be one of my favorites yet. This is just the queen. Like when we're talking the queen, this is such a queen outfit. Yeah, purple and gold in itself is such an insane combo, and just this ticks all the boxes. We've got the big robe, we've got the bedazzle, we've got the gold trimmers, we've got the singular monotone collar. Yeah, this is such an easy S tier piece of gear for me. Royal Rumble 2020, and I mean, come on now, this is a Royal Rumble that Charlotte Flair won. This was Charlotte Flair's Royal Rumble, and you know what? I feel like she did bring the gear for this moment. Again, we're talking very simple gear, but very simple and very effective gear. And I think you might have noticed by now, the gears that make it all the way to the top are the ones with like the big robes, all the glamour, the bedazzle. But something very simple like this, I think she's done incredibly effectively, because this is not like a 2D set of gear. If you look at the shorts and you look at the top, there's so much detail even within that, and I feel like like the subtle levels to this gear, with it not just being a flat red piece. We have the red, we have the burgundy boots in like a vinyl texture almost. I think from top to bottom, this, I don't know if it's getting bonus points in my mind just because she won this Royal Rumble, but I really do think this is a flawless piece of S tier gear. TLC 2019, and I feel like we take a hit again. I feel like this is what she wanted from like what we saw the WrestleMania with the purple and black. This is like what that was meant to look like, but this is just like a way worse done version of it. I think once she added those like purple and gold details to the robe, that really took it to that next level. But this is just such a basic version of that. There's just not really much going on. And that's not to say it's a terrible piece of gear. It's definitely not like an F tier caliber piece of gear, but it's just very 2D. A sort of glitter black, an all black at that jacket with no details. Not a big fan of the purple gear like underneath the jacket. I'm gonna give this a comfortable a low B tier. Hell in a Cell 2019, and boy are we talking again. This is insane. I really like this color. I think this color especially does match like the skin tone and hair color of Charlotte Flair. But yeah, it's just such a suited Charlotte Flair bit of gear. Yeah, we've got like the grayish sort of undertone, and then just a lot of details on the top. We've got the rhinestones, we've got the actual fabric detailing in the outfit. I think just I'm a bit annoyed we don't get to see the boots in this picture, but I would imagine they go with the gear itself. I'm gonna have to put this in the S tier. Also, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I feel like something about having a title, specifically the SmackDown Women's title, makes the outfits pop just that little bit more. Like, I feel like it almost acts as like drip. Like, it feels like almost a jewelry piece to the outfit, if that makes sense. Anyways, moving on to Clash of Champions 2019, and you know what? I immediately pull my face to it, but I don't hate it. I think it's definitely moving into that tacky region, and that just must have something to do with the fabrics itself. Something about it just feels a little cheaper than a lot of the other gears we've seen. But I do like the fact we've got a variety of shades of purple. I think if it was all just one 2D like rock solid color, it would definitely lose a lot more points. But obviously towards the bottom, we've got some of the darker shades of purple. On the headpiece, we've got the dark shades of purple. Again, with that sort of like flower type look, which I am a big fan of. And then we've got those silver type linings on the actual jacket itself. Definitely not a terrible piece of gear, but not one of her best either. I'm going to be putting this in the low B tier again. SummerSlam 2019. Yeah, I feel we're peaking again. This is something that's way out of my realm of imagination, because I have zero gauge when it comes to combining colors. And I'm always so impressed when people make like such drastically different colors work together. But I feel like this purple, blue, and green gear with the like almost pearlescent, like it just looks like she's wearing a giant pearl as the jacket, and it just goes so well with the purple gear underneath. Yeah, I don't really have anything negative to say about this gear. I think this is another flawless piece of Charlotte Flair gear, and I'm going to be putting this straight into the S tier. Money in the Bank 2019, definitely back to the basic region, but again, basic, not bad. This is just kind of like a skin tone nude type of gear, and I'm a big fan. I think it does work quite well. A little bit too basic again to make it to those top tiers, but I feel like it really does suit, I guess, the skin tone of Charlotte Flair, which I imagine is very much what they were going for. I'm going to put this in a pretty high A tier. I am a big fan of this like simple, almost nude tone look. I don't know why it feels like it's been such a while since we've seen a WrestleMania piece of gear, but this was the big one. This was the main event, WrestleMania 35, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. I mean, talk about grand entrance. This woman comes in via helicopter, has this big pyro entrance. Like, I don't think that has been, even to this day, a women's entrance this grand. Again, coming in with the title, which I think definitely adds to the outfit. The blue and purple does slightly clash if we're talking like the whole title situation, but I mean, she can't really choose the color of the title, so I won't factor factor that in. You know what I will say? I feel like she's had a lot better gears for a lot smaller stages. And I think given this was her big moment, given this was the WrestleMania main event, the first ever women's WrestleMania main event, I feel like it's not grand enough. There's not, like, I feel like she chose to bring the bedazzle to the wrong place. She chose to bring the big over-the-top outfits to the wrong place. I think if there was a pay-per-view where Charlotte Flair should have gone all out, this was the one, and I don't think she maybe delivered as much as she could have. I think she played it very safe with just the all-purple gear, a little bit of light blue lining and light blue on the knees, but nothing really screaming WrestleMania main event as the champion. I'm gonna have to put this simply for the fact that you would expect so much more for what the stakes were in this match. I'm gonna be putting this in a high B tier. Fastlane 2019. I mean, we're back down to a super C tier pay-per-view. And I'm not saying the gear is C tier, but the pay-per-view, I mean, I have respect for even showing up with gear at Fastlane. I don't think anything good has ever really happened at Fastlane. But yeah, I like it. It's simple, it's basic. Red and gold, very, very nice color scheme. Definitely not enough to make it right to the top, but I'm gonna give it a low A tier. Royal Rumble 2019, and look what we have here. I don't know if I'm tripping, but I'm like so incredibly sure that's the gear we just saw in the last image, which I did rate it high. And honestly, if anything, I should be dropping the Fastlane gear because that's where she repeated it. But given we're working our way back, I guess this is the one that's gonna take the hit. Royal Rumble, again, it would be A tier because that's what I did for the last one. But the fact that we've seen the same gear 2 pay-per-views in a row, just out of sheer lack of creativity, I'm gonna have to put it in the F tier. I mean, we come on now, we cannot be wearing the same gear 2 pay-per-views in a row. I think we would let it off if it's like a Gunther, but Charlotte Flair, we run a strict regime and that just does not run for Charlotte Flair. TLC 2018, and this is monochrome done right. This is a one-tone piece of gear done incredibly well, and I think the thing that makes it not feel flat, not feel tacky, and makes it feel done well, I think is the fact that we've got both a variety of textures, but also we've got some like details that separate from just being one solid color. Of course, we've got the feathers up here, we've got the more silk lining on the inside of the jacket, again bedazzled as necessary, with the white lining on the shorts, on the top. Yeah, I think this is incredible. I think if you're gonna go for an all pink gear, I think this is done to an absolute T. So I will be putting this gear in the S tier. Survivor Series 2018, and I'm gonna be honest, I'll cut this a little bit of slack because I don't know if you can properly see, but she's still like low-key repping the SmackDown t-shirt that you're like kind of forced to wear if you're on Team SmackDown. So this is not entirely her gear choice. This is her representing SmackDown gear. I think given the constraints, again, I think she's done an incredible job. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the jacket. I think she's made it work with the SmackDown t-shirt. Yeah, I think this is a solid, given it's a Survivor Series outfit for Team SmackDown Live, I'm going to be putting this in the A tier. And by the way, if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please make sure to smash that like button as it would support the channel so much. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I am so close now to 1,000 subscribers. So if you enjoy content like this, ranking videos, nostalgia videos, all of that good stuff, please consider giving a subscribe. But we are moving swiftly on to Evolution 2018, aka just Evolution. This looks suspiciously similar to the last gear we saw, but I'm gonna give it some leeway on this occasion because there was no point in her creating a whole new set of gear to be on Team SmackDown, I guess, where she kind of had to wear the SmackDown Live t-shirt. Huge fan. This is insane. This is insane gear. Again, we've got like the gold under gear with the almost pearl looking jacket. Just such a visually stunning piece of gear. And I feel like a lot of these pictures probably don't do this gear enough justice, but I can't begin to imagine how insane this gear probably looked in person. Yeah, I'm a big fan. And there's something very unique here in this one, actually. I'm seeing that let me know in the comments what we're calling this, but like the thing that goes behind her head. Are we calling it a hood? I think it might be a hood. But this is actually not matching the gear this time. This is actually like a separate fur piece, which I think actually goes very, very well with this specific gear. And I'm going to be putting this one in the S tier again. Hell in a Cell 2018. And at the beginning of the video, I said I am someone who greatly appreciates color. And this is color done on a divine level, in my opinion. I think this is visually stunning, almost to a transcendent level. Like, this is so, I don't even want to use the word spiritual, but like it kind of takes me to that place. We kind of have every color merged into one. We have the green, we have the blue, red, purple, and I think what makes this so good is the combination of this like array of these are deep, rich colors with the gold lining, with the gold details. This is just such a beautiful amalgamation of colors and gold detailing. I'm going to have to put this in the S tier, no doubt about it. SummerSlam 2018, and this feels like another one of those moments where it feels suspiciously similar to another one we've seen before, but again, like there's bound to be repeats, there's bound to be two pink gears. It doesn't, I'm not going to read into that too much because it definitely does look like it has its unique things. It's got purple details this time on the top and a bit on the shorts. I'm a fan. I definitely am a fan of this. Yeah, I like the variety of shades of pink we've got in this. We've got like the light pink hood this time with the feathers. I think this is incredibly well done yet again. I hope you take my ranking seriously given I'm putting so much stuff in the S tier, but I promise it's not me. This is just how insane every Charlotte Flair gear is. And I'm going to be again putting this in the S tier. And for the final gear of this video, we have Charlotte Flair's Money in the Bank 2018 gear. And this is unreal. This, I think it's the finish that does it for me. I don't know if you see these colors at the bottom that this gear is producing, but this has this like almost not even almost, this is just straight up like a pearlescent effect. I can't even describe what is going on here because it's just so intricate and complex. But we have, yeah, just this whole pearlescent gear with the gold boots with a bit of light blue lining, which I feel like complements these sort of textures and colors so incredibly well. I'm gonna have to put the final gear of this video all the way up in that S tier for one final time. But all I'm gonna say is fear not, because we are not gonna be seeing S tier gear in the next video. There certainly will be some S tier, but let me tell you, some of the things I've seen are questionable to say the least. But anyways, that is all of the gear for part 1 of this video. If you want to see part 2 to this video, please make sure to like this video where we will be taking it from 2018 all the way back to 2015. And let me know in the comments which gear from this video has been your favorite so far. I don't even know if I can begin to choose, but I don't know if it's recency bias, but I might have to go with WrestleMania 41 gear. I think that gear is just absolutely insane. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to check out this video up next.